getting knocked and rocked pretty good, comes right back, stays in the pocket.
Under duress.
And that is a beauty to Darius Slayton, who is dealing with a hamstring of his own. It was his first preseason game, his first game ever, because he's a 5th-round pick out of Auburn. Another Giants wide receiver you have not heard of making a play. Giants win, and I'll tell you what, people in New York are very excited, not just about Jones, but about the other quarterback too. But Colleen, you know, all anyone wants to talk about is Daniel Jones.
Daniel Jones, and he deserves it after the way that he's been playing this entire preseason. And we saw what Pat Shurmur, we heard earlier in the show, what he had to say, yeah.
And let's hear what Daniel had to say after that performance.
You know, what I'm focused on right now is continuing to learn, continuing to take the right steps forward. And I mean, I think there's a number of things that I still need to work. There always will be, but I don't know. I think there's certainly a lot to work on, a lot to improve on.
That's what we thought he was when we drafted him. It's fun. About every 6 or 7 days now, I've been able to tell you that's what we saw when we drafted him. So I think he just has a feel for playing the position, and he's getting, you know, he's steadily getting better every time he takes the field, whether it's practice or games. And so that's what you're looking for from a young player, and certainly a guy as talented as Daniel is. You can ask me all you want about why I like him. I think it's time to start asking the people that didn't like him what they think, quite frankly.
I love it so much.
Spicy.
I love the way that he smiles at the end and then adds the, quite frankly. That's what you should do. So you could see Daniel Jones's numbers right here. No interceptions, but the number that I love, 25 of 30. I mean, he is hitting on so many of these passes. And obviously, Shurmur loves the way that his quarterback has been playing. So do you think that his play has silenced any of his critics, as it should have by now at least? But what do you think?
Yeah, 100%. You know, right out the gate when he was drafted, you know, I remember coming out saying the Giants should have went Dwayne Haskins. And then, you know, me sitting here with egg on my face, Dwayne Haskins, first preseason game, he throws 2 interceptions. And every game in the preseason, Daniel Jones has played at a very high level. Now, I get it. There's ways to criticize it, pick at it, which we will always do for quarterbacks that are drafted that high, and say, well, he's not playing against the top-tier defenses, and he's not seeing the exotic looks and blitzes. That's fine. He can only control the plays that are called and the defenses that he faces. And if you're in a position where you feel like you need to challenge the number 1 QB, which I feel like Daniel Jones is, he's going to do it and do it well. So for me, he is shutting down the criticism. As for right now, let's not get too excited. The regular season isn't here yet, but for right now, let's give this young man credit. He's playing at a high level.
I'm sarcastic a lot on this show when it comes to the relationship with you, Nate. I got to be very earnest here. The line of people that would stand up and say, hey, I have egg on my face, I criticize this guy, is very short, and it should be around the block. It is very commendable of you to come on air and already say, hey, I maybe didn't give this guy his due, and I think that's something that should be commended, because this guy was ripped apart in this market and on national TV more than any draft pick I can remember in recent memory. And what he's done those first 3 weeks has not only silenced critics, has made critics look internally at themselves and say, why was I so mean? Why was I so angry? Why was I so toxic about this guy who actually might be a decent football player? The New York Post, I read it every morning. And in the New York Post, they had Blues Clueless when they drafted Daniel Jones. No. Blues Clueless. This morning, heir apparent.
How about that?
How quickly 4 months can change the narrative on a guy. I just want to say kudos to Pat Shurmur for having your guys back. Kudos to Daniel Jones. I don't know where this thing goes. And kudos to you, Nate, because there should be everyone on television right now saying, hey, I was wrong. I was wrong. And I don't think there's going to be many. That's how our media works. Yeah.
But I think that's the most rewarding part for Daniel Jones, is seeing the way that he's played. He knew all along what he had inside of him.
Yeah.
And just being like, okay, cool. Talk all your talk. Say whatever you want. But I'm going to go out there and prove all of you wrong. And I'm going to do it right quick. So, like, out the way.
Love it.
You know what his most important moment of the preseason has been? It's been his worst play of the preseason. Let me tell you what I'm talking about. This was in the highlight. He got absolutely destroyed from both sides. The pass protection completely breaks down. Hit in the back, hit in the chest. It is a brutal hit. It was clean. But guys, the ball goes flying. He was doing the thing where he's kind of loosening up his shoulder, and like he was beat up after this play. It's as hard as a hit as you could see in the 2019 NFL on a quarterback. That's a tough. Yeah. Look at that. And he gets it from the front as well. On the next play, he got up with, again, the rush in his